There is a cardboard flat sitting on the little table next to my apartment door right now. Inside that flat are 10 clear plastic cups, the kind you would pour lemonade into at a summer cookout, and standing up out of every single cup is a small green plant. Green onions in 3 of them, bright as new grass. A celery heart in another one, fanning out fresh leaves from its center. Little basil plants in the rest, glossy and happy in the morning sun coming through the window. But here's the part that still makes me grin like a fool. 2 weeks ago, every plant in that flat was garbage. Root ends, stubs, and trimmings, all of it headed for the trash can under my kitchen sink. And this afternoon, a fellow from the community garden down the street is stopping by to pick up that flat and hand me $35 for it. $35 for things my kitchen was about to throw away. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I do this, start to finish, right from my own windowsill. And stay with me all the way to the end, because whether your cups sell the very first weekend or sit around for a month comes down to one specific thing the buyer needs to see through that clear plastic, and I am going to show you exactly how to get it every single time. I'm Jake, though most folks around here know me as Backyard Buddy. 3 years ago, I was the guy who killed houseplants, and I mean that sincerely. I once killed a cactus. Then, one Tuesday evening, a bunch of green onion ends I tossed at the trash can missed, landed in a glass of water on the counter, and 3 days later, they had sprouted 2 inches of new green growth. Since then, I have regrown hundreds of plants from kitchen scraps on my windowsills and balcony. My grocery bill has dropped by nearly a third. And my neighbor Gloria upstairs, a retired schoolteacher who taught me half of what I know, has been growing this way on her balcony for 20 years. Now let's talk about why anybody would pay real money for a plant that started life as a scrap. Walk into any garden center in April and look at the herb shelf. A single basil start in a 4-inch plastic pot runs $4 or $5. A little pot of green onion starts, $3 or $4. Celery starts and lettuce starts, right around the same. And people pay it happily because what they are really buying is not the plant. They are buying a head start. They are buying something that is already alive and already growing, so they never have to sweat over a packet of seeds that might not come up. But your kitchen produces those exact same head starts every single week, free of charge. The root end of every bunch of green onions, the base of every head of celery, the bottom 2 inches of a head of romaine, that sprouting potato hiding in the pantry. An ordinary kitchen tosses $10 or $15 worth of perfectly regrowable starts into the trash every month without anyone ever noticing. I did it myself for about 54 years. So the plan today is simple. We rescue those scraps, we regrow them in water on the windowsill, we pot them up into clear cups, and we sell them for $3 to $5 a piece. And hold that thought about the clear cup, because the cup itself, and what a buyer can see through it, is the part everybody skips, and it is the part that does the actual selling. We will get there, I promise. Now, everything I'm about to show you, every crop, every step, every day of it, comes straight out of a book I put together called The 30-Day Kitchen Scrap Garden Protocol. Zero waste, zero experience, free food. I wrote it for absolute beginners, folks with no yard, no experience, and close to no budget. Because 3 years ago, that was me exactly. It is 172 pages, and it covers 31 different crops you can regrow from kitchen scraps, each one with its own plain instructions written the same way I talk to you here. It also has the $10 starter kit, gathered mostly from things you already own, the full 30-day, day-by-day plan that takes you from your first glass of water to your first harvests, and honest troubleshooting for the days when a scrap decides to sulk. The whole thing is $17 right now, marked down from $47, and that is one time for a grocery bill that keeps dropping every single week after. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time. There is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. All right, buddy. Phone's down. Let's go stand at my kitchen counter and pick our crops. Out of all the scraps you could regrow, 5 of them earned their spot as the best sellers, and I chose them for 3 plain reasons. They regrow fast. They are almost impossible to mess up. And everybody who sees them knows exactly what they are, which matters more than you might think when a stranger is deciding whether to hand you $4. The 5 are green onions, celery, romaine lettuce, basil and mint, and ginger. 4 of them start in nothing but a glass of water on a sunny windowsill. One of them, the ginger, is the slow mover of the group, but it also carries the biggest price tag, so it earns its patience. We will take them one at a time, and remember, 1 glass of water on a windowsill. That's the whole starting line. Green onions first, because this is where my whole life changed, and it is the fastest crop in the kitchen. When you buy a bunch of green onions at the grocery store, look down at the bottom and you will see little white root ends, usually about ½ an inch of them. Cut your onions about 1 inch above those roots. Save that top part for dinner. Now, stand the root ends upright in a small glass. Add water until it covers about 1 inch of the bulb. That is 1 inch, not a full glass, because the green tops want to breathe air. Set the glass on a sunny windowsill. Change the water every 2 days so it stays fresh. That is every 2 days, and that is honestly the entire job. In 3 days, you will see new green shoots standing taller than you left them. In a week, they will be 4 or 5 inches and growing like they have somewhere to be. $1.99 bought you that bunch, dinner came out of it, and the leftover roots just became sellable plants. That's not garbage, that's groceries. Now here's where most folks go wrong. They let the water sit until it turns cloudy, the roots sulk, and they decide regrowing does not work. Fresh water every 2 days. Say it with me, every 2 days, and green onions will never once let you down. That handles the fastest crop. But it leaves you with a question, which is what to grow for the folks who want something bigger than an onion. And that is where celery comes in. Celery is the crowd pleaser of the flat, because a regrowing celery heart genuinely looks like a small miracle sitting in a bowl. Next time you buy a whole head of celery, cut all the stalks off about 2 inches above the base, 2 inches measured from the bottom. Set that base cut side up in a shallow bowl or a saucer. Add about 1 inch of water around it. Put it somewhere bright, like a kitchen windowsill that gets good afternoon light. Change the water every 2 days, same rule as the onions. Within 4 or 5 days, you will see tiny yellow-green leaves pushing up from the very center of the base. And by the end of a week, those leaves turn dark green and start reaching. Gloria taught me this one, by the way. Back when I still thought celery came from a factory. She has had celery going in old coffee cans on her balcony for 20 years, and when I asked her why she never told anybody, she just laughed and said, "Nobody ever asked." Well, I am asking on your behalf, and I am telling you a celery base in week 2, with a little green fountain coming out of its middle, is one of the easiest $4 sales you will ever make. Romaine lettuce works almost the same way, and it is the fast talker of the group. Take a head of romaine, and after you have made your salad, keep the bottom 2 inches of the stump. Set that stump in a bowl with about ½ an inch of water. ½ an inch is plenty for lettuce. Bright windowsill, water changed every 2 days, and this one shows off quicker than anything else on the list. In 3 days, and I mean 3 days, you will see new leaves rising from the center like the whole plant is waking up from a nap. Lettuce regrown this way will not give you a full second head. And I want to be honest about that because I never oversell any of this. What it gives you is a living, visibly growing plant. And for selling purposes, visible growth is the entire game. Remember that one specific thing I said the buyer has to see through the clear plastic? Lettuce and green onions get you there faster than any crop in the kitchen, and we are getting close to it. Now for the money crops, basil and mint, And this part surprises people because you do not even need a plant to start. You need the produce aisle. Those little clamshell packs of fresh basil at the grocery store and those bundles of mint are cuttings, and cuttings want a root. Pick out stems that are at least 4 inches long. Strip the leaves off the bottom 2 inches of each stem. Leave the top leaves alone. Stand the stems in a glass with 2 inches of water, making sure no leaves sit under water. Bright windowsill, out of harsh midday sun, water changed every 2 days. For about a week, nothing will seem to happen. And this is the moment I need you to relax, because under the water, the stem is doing quiet, invisible work. Around day 10 to 14, little white roots appear along the stem. And once they are an inch long, you have a brand new basil or mint plant that cost you nothing. A $3 clamshell of basil usually gives me 6 or 8 good stems. Garden centers sell one basil start for $4 or $5. You can do that arithmetic while the water boils for your coffee, and it comes out grinning. The last crop is ginger, and ginger is the patient one. At the store, pick a plump, firm piece of ginger with little pointed buds on it, like tiny horns. Those buds are where growth happens. Let the piece sit on the counter for a few days until the buds swell. Then lay it flat in a shallow pot of soil, buds facing up. Cover it with about 1 inch of soil. Water it lightly, keep it warm, around 70 degrees is what it likes, and then wait. Ginger takes 2 or 3 weeks just to send up its first green spear, so this is a background project, not a weekend one. But a potted ginger plant with a green stalk standing a foot tall is the single most impressive thing on my balcony, and it sells for $8 to $10, double anything else in the flat. Slow crop, best price. Every farm stand needs one show pony. So that is the growing. Now let me show you the potting up, because water gets a plant started, but soil gets it sold. Once your onions have new green tops, your celery and lettuce have center leaves, and your basil roots are an inch long, they are ready to move into cups. Here's my whole setup, and it cost me about $10 total the first time. Clear plastic cups, 16-ounce size, from any grocery store. 1 bag of potting soil and regular potting mix is fine, nothing fancy. A pencil for poking. Poke 3 or 4 drainage holes in the bottom of each cup with that pencil. Do not skip the holes, because a cup with no drainage is how the old plant-killing Jake would have done it. Fill each cup about 2/3 with soil. Nestle your rooted scrap in gently. Add soil around it until it stands up straight on its own. Water it slowly until a little runs out the bottom. Then, set the whole flat somewhere bright for a few days, so everything settles in. And keep those cups clear, not colored, not paper, clear. I know I keep coming back to that, and the reason is the ending I promised you, because the clear cup is about to do something no sales pitch can do. Now, where does a regular person actually sell these, especially if the word marketplace makes you think of a website you have never used? Everywhere I sell without a computer, and I live in an apartment. My best spot is the bulletin board in my building lobby, 1 index card, plants, $3 to $5, apartment number, that is it. Second best, the community garden down the street, because those folks are already buying starts every spring, and they would rather buy from a neighbor. Church sales and community yard sales take a flat of 10 cups and usually send it home empty. If you know anyone with a farm stand or a table at a farmer's market, a corner of their table in exchange for a couple of free plants is a fine old-fashioned deal. And plain word of mouth beats all of it. Once one neighbor buys a celery cup, 3 more knock. If you have a family member who uses the online marketplaces, they can list a photo for you, but I promise you it is not required. I sold my first flat by telling exactly one person, and that person was Gloria, who then told the entire building, because retired school teachers are the fastest news service in America. Let's talk honest prices, and honest is the only kind I do. Green onions, lettuce, and celery cups, $3 to $4 each. Basil and mint, $4 to $5, because that is under the garden center price for the same thing. Ginger, $8 to $10. None of this makes anybody rich, and I will never tell you otherwise. What it made me last month, selling flats on ordinary weekends from a table by the mailboxes, was $112, all of it from scraps my kitchen produced anyway while feeding me. $112 out of a trash can. Add that to a grocery bill already down by nearly a third from eating my own regrown food. And this little windowsill habit quietly pays better than it has any right to. And that brings us to the part I promised you at the start, the one thing that decides whether your cups sell the first weekend or sit for a month. I call it the proof window, and it is the reason for every clear cup in my apartment. When a beginner looks at a plant for sale, one fear is doing all the talking, the fear of killing it. I know that fear personally, I was the cactus killer, remember? So they do not really want a plant. They want proof the plant will live. And there are exactly two pieces of proof, and your cup can show both at once. The first is white roots, pressed right up against the clear plastic where anyone can see them. White, visible roots mean the plant is alive below the soil, no trust required. Their own two eyes confirm it. The second is new growth up top, a fresh center leaf on the celery, a bright new shoot on the onions that was not there when the plant went in the cup. New growth means the plant already survived transplanting, which is the riskiest week of its whole life before the buyer ever touched it. So the timing rule is this: pot your scraps up, wait about 1 week, and sell in the window when white roots show through the plastic and the first new leaves have opened. Not before, when there is nothing to see, and not a month later when the plant is cramped and tired. Roots they can see, growth they can point to. In that window, the plant sells itself, and you just stand there making change. And that is the whole idea, one scrap at a time. And the book walks you through 31 of them, day by day, starting with what is in your kitchen tonight. The 30-day kitchen scrap garden protocol is $17, down from $47. And $17 is 4 celery cups on one Saturday morning. Every crop I showed you today has its own page in the book, along with the $10 starter kit, the full 30-day plan, and the troubleshooting for any scrap that sulks on you. One time, $17, and it keeps paying you back every week at the grocery store and every flat you sell. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you used to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time, there is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. So that is the whole path: scraps to water, water to clear cups to the proof window, and the proof window to $3 to $5 a piece. Right from a windowsill. Tell me in the comments the first scrap you're going to regrow, or the one you've already got going on the windowsill. I read every single one. And come back next time, because I am going to show you the $2 bag of sprouting potatoes from my pantry that filled a 5-gallon bucket on my balcony with new potatoes. And the one thing you have to do to that bucket in week 3 that decides whether you harvest 2 pounds or 10. Don't throw it away. Grow it. I'll see you next time, buddy.